I know where we can go, where the sunrise lasts forever, and it's all you and me. We'll kiss the sky Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. Just run away with me, darling. We'll get real lost. We'll get real lost again. I know where we can go, where the sunrise lasts forever, and it's all you and me.
Hello everybody, we are back with Elemental League. We've got VBU Krypton versus Hawkthorne Esports. I'm so happy to be here for round 2 of playoffs, lower bracket. I'm Colonel, beside me is Pekka Paul. Talk me through it.
Honestly, Colonel, I am so pumped to be back for EGL playoffs again. I think this series might go the distance tonight. I know that the team records may be deceiving, but I think Hawthorne are on the rise after their nice series last week, and I think that VBU and Krypton are starting to show cracks in their skin. And if they are able to take this game to 5, honestly, I think it'll be a close one.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what everyone has in store for us, especially the VBU roster, because we have seen that been the most tumultuous throughout the playoffs format. So keep your eyes out on who's playing what and where they're going to be slotting in. But, Paul, I have to say, last week we had a banger of a series.
We absolutely did. Honestly, they were just so... Oh my goodness, I almost forgot their team name. Flippa United were so dominant. Absolutely dismantling Hyperion Origin. And honestly, there wasn't... I don't want to say it was a surprise, because a lot of people saw the momentum Flippa were riding going into that series, but in the fashion that they won, it was just so dominant that they definitely took the league by storm, Colonel.
Absolutely. And remember, Hyperion, who did lose that 3-0, will be going up against the winner of this team. So tonight, one team will officially be out of championship contention.
Yeah, Colonel, and just like that, we are in live draft for game 1. Shyvana being the first ban for Hawthorne. I know that Arth plays an AP Shiv, but I think it's just amazing that it merits so much respect to be first ban.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't run up against it. And there's Theon, which is a very much normal ban when you're going up against VBU Krypton. Vayne also taken off the table, and Seraphine, what are you expecting to be played VBU on the bot side?
Honestly, now that Seraphine's on the ban list, I don't know. I guess we're just out of B1 options for VBU. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I don't know what to expect from VBU from B1 because they so often pick Seraphine, but wow. B1 Jinx, a high-risk, high-reward champion, blind in the draft, Colonel.
I mean, to be honest, where you're picking this Jinx first pick in game 1, that sort of gives you the sense of confidence that I'm not really sure if VBU has, but maybe they're coming here to tell me that I'm wrong and that they do have their mojo back coming into round 2 of losers bracket. And there's going to be numbers there. It will be the Xin Zhao locked in for Hawkthorne. I don't think they can change it at that point. Yes, and that is... Paul, talk me through it. This guy had a P1, yeah?
I mean, listen, I'm a little bit boosted by this Xin Zhao. My LP has gone a little down since this champ got nerfs, but let me tell you guys, this champion is still broken. You can go Gore Drinker, you can go Conqueror. This champion used to be this assassin-y, like Eclipse, Hail of Blades user, but they found out when you make Xin Zhao a bruiser and he doesn't die, he ends up kind of being the best champion in the game for a little bit. And with Thresh being locked in as the pairing, Hawthorne have two fantastic early pick blinds in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, to be honest, you usually see something like the Thresh paired with the Jinx, because remember, Jinx can be pretty vulnerable before she's able to get that reset, able to get excited so that she can get that speed. So I'll be curious what they pair in the bot side. Again, one of those other strong picks that VBU tends to hover towards is on the ban table in that Seraphine. So the support is a big question, but they will be leaving it for round 2 of their pick phase as they do lock in Sejuani and Wukong. That's a beautifully strong top side.
It really is a strong top side. I do think Wukong's really blindable right now. We don't see a ton of teams play it. Honestly, I'm happy that we're seeing a look here. I do think Wukong is a really good option for them, though Hawthorne have an answer that I think is strong as well with the Shen, and I actually need to know a little bit more about this matchup, Colonel. I don't know if you're an expert. I know you used to play a lot of Shen back in the day, but do you know how this one goes? I haven't seen this in forever.
This, to be honest, is a little bit surprising because you're right. It is sort of a call to history. It's not something that we tend to see often, although for some reason, as much, I mean, I would probably do it too, but teams tend to hover back to Shen over and over and over again. This is a decently even matchup. Wukong has the facets to play this out. But it should honestly not matter too heavily. But if the Wukong oversteps, remember how strong Shen as a tank can be, and he can really punish.
Yeah, and Colonel, you know what? I've checked the stat sheets here. I've done my research in your last couple of sentences, and it turns out that it is one of Wukong's worst matchups. But because Wukong is in such a good balance spot right now, the matchup is still 50-50. So there aren't a lot of great options for Hawthorne to pick into this champion that is very blindable, but I think Shen is one of those. So, I mean, solid theory from them. Whether or not it pans out, we'll have to see if the Wukong's better than the Shen. But to talk you through the rest of the bans, we have 2 ADCs banned away from Hawthorne trying to get counters off of all of his comfort champions, and when you pull him off his comfort, he's going to lock in the Ashe here. And Colonel, honestly, I don't mind it. I think it's the right choice. I'm usually an anti-Ashe fan, but I think it's the right choice here.
To be honest, I like the Ashe here as well. I think that he does already have shown in the draft a good amount of damage, so you're not worried about the Ashe, the little isolate tickle that she provides in the bottom side. But it also is going to be pretty strong, because remember how VBU plays stylistically. They like to let their support roam. They like to let Kyton do a lot of the heavy lifting, and Ashe stylistically works very well into VBU because you can constantly push in that bottom side.
And you can, and honestly, with Karma as the answer, I'm not sure if it's the right pick here as well, Colonel, because I believe that Thresh does win into Karma right now, and even if it is a good matchup, I feel that picking 2 squishy options into Thresh is something that's potentially dangerous against such a strong laner like Ashe. But Colonel, honestly, sneaking through the entire draft, Kyton's Corki is being locked in on blue 5, and honestly, it's a draft changer because whether or not it's counterable it doesn't seem to matter. Kyton always performs on this champ.
I'm so incredibly surprised that it made it this far. You're right, sneaking through is the perfect way to describe that. And he's been a god on it before, and he's been a god on it before in the playoff circuit, so I'm not at all... Oh? It is going to be Ziggs. Oh, I'm super excited. So that is going to be Ziggs in the mid lane, which obviously has been so strong lately. We saw it last week in both the ADC and support positions. So honestly, a very strong, flexible pick in the Ziggs.
Yeah, and honestly, Colonel, I think that if there's any pick for Hawthorne to go with here, besides like some assassins that we don't see a lot, I think Ziggs is the right control mage to take on this Corki. I feel like other control mages tend to struggle into Corki, where Ziggs doesn't, because Ziggs also has the range to clear the way from a million miles away, whereas Victor and Orianna kind of have to step up into it. So overall, I don't know if Hawthorne's draft fits together as well as I would like, but I think going lane by lane, I think Hawthorne have the right answers into VBU's draft.
Yeah, absolutely. But to be honest, I'm not too sure how much synergy VBU Krypton's draft has either. I'd argue Sejuani Wukong with that melee top side into a matchup that can be volatile, but even want Sejuani to go to this Wukong, but that's also why you B1 a Jinx is to have a lane to play to. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the problem I think that VBU are maybe going to run into this game is they've picked scaling in a lot of places, and now Corki can scale very safely, but Jinx is a champion that needs a lot of attention early. And with Wukong also getting counterpicked by the Shen here, I feel like that Sejuani might be split across the map, having to gank top and bottom instead of have one side of the map in which Sejuani can overload. And if VBU are going to lose this game, it's going to be because their early game side lanes don't get enough help. Xin Zhao and the early game of Ash Thresh is able to take over the game.
So I think you revealed your answer just the littlest bit, but while we were talking about it, but if you had to pick a draft coming out of Game 1 Champion Select, who would you go with?
Honestly, Colonel, I think it's a harder question because I think that the onus of executing well in the early game is on Hawthorne, where VBU can just sit back and play the game. And a lot of times in Amateur, we see teams that try to push the tempo early do get punished here. But it's game 1 of a series, and if they're coming out with this confident of a draft, I have to stick with their confidence too. I like Hawthorne's confidence, and whether or not it's going to pan is up in the air, but I think I have to respect that they're going for such an aggressive playstyle, and I have to go for them.
Awesome, you guys heard the man. I'm not gonna put my thoughts out there. I think it's just a bit too even. I'm gonna let Pack Paul potentially get it wrong, but we will be right back before we get into Game 1 of VBU Krypton versus Hawkthorne Esports. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody. We are back, headed into Game 1 of VBU versus Hawkthorne. Pack and Paul, I am so excited. We've got spicy draft. Talk me through this early game.
Honestly, this early game is super interesting because Sejuani is one of those champions that is known to be able to fight the Xin Zhao early. And it's weird how she's able to do it. It has to do with Xin Zhao not being able to eat onto the Sejuani if she has her Q. So, Sejuani is this really cool champion that I play a little bit. I used to play a lot of it. Where her Aftershock procs on her Q, and a lot of players who play her tend to not proc Aftershock until they proc it with her E-stun much later in the fight. Sejuani is a much stronger champion if you do land your Q because you get the early Aftershock proc. What Xin Zhao gives Sejuani is the opportunity to land the Q guaranteed when Xin Zhao E's in, and it makes the junglers trade even in the early game. Now, Xin Zhao can do more than Sejuani early. Xin Zhao can gank more than Sejuani early, but honestly, the matchup is interesting because if Allfire plays this right, there's so much room to find angles in on this Xin Zhao and actually shut down his early game pretty hard. So I expect to see a lot of collision of the junglers as counters gets chunked.
Counters, man. They did not even. They didn't even want to look to get a kill on him. Just wanted to take half his HP bar before the lane even starts. But yeah, I agree with all of your points. I feel like Aftershock is something that's pretty impossible for the Xin Zhao to trade into. The real question is, does Allfire know this wisdom that Pack Paul is bestowing upon chat right now? Because if he doesn't proc that Aftershock, then does Xin Zhao win that?
If the Q is on cooldown, then Xin Zhao can definitely solo kill the Sejuani early. I mean, the Sejuani's not able to proc Aftershock in time. And if Sej can't proc Aftershock against Xin Zhao, she kind of just gets one shot, and it's really bad. But I feel like it's important for me to say, like, this has been Packapal bringing you your jungler information or something like that to come in here. But yeah, I guess I know a lot about this matchup, and I guess I get to share my wisdom with chat.
Your current one trick versus your old one trick?
Exactly, man. Exactly.
These are the only two champions Packapal has under his belt.
Yeah, it's actually all I know how to play. It's kind of cringe, am I right?
It's super cringe. But, I mean, Arth trying his best to spot out where this Sejuani would be. We didn't mention it, but both did start on the top side, and now there will be a gank in the middle. I don't think this one's going to work. Yeah, blasted away from the Ziggs. But interestingly enough, despite them both starting on the top side, Arth has found himself still on the top side, and Sejuani is on the bot side getting that scuttle. So they will be handshaking the scuttle crabs.
They will, but Colonel, I think a very interesting thing that the Xin Zhao has done early is Arthas full cleared his red side, tried to invade Sejuani. They didn't have the information that Sejuani was pathing top to bottom. And because of that, Xin Zhao hasn't taken his blue side yet, and now Allfire gets to put in another gank mid.
Second time around, and this time he's burning the flash. He will get 2 stacks of the stun. Cayenne able to get the third, but he's still able to escape, and Shen was able to get priority to escape him. This time, they brought even a third member into that mid lane with Toxin roaming up from the bottom side, and they still were unable to find a kill.
Yeah, and Allfire with all this extra tempo because of Arth trying to invade and it not paying off is gone now. And to be fair to him, it's a nice play to look at and to make, but honestly, it's just so surprising that the Xin Zhao's early pathing doesn't go unpunished.
Yeah, it's crazy to see, and now this wave is pretty thick, but Allfire is trying to find his way, sneaking into these bushes. They're going to get a good amount of poke damage, but Counters is not going to be the one pushing in. Now with the hook going wide, Allfire will walk in to try and get the stun. He's going to land just the bare tip of that, and unable to find anything yet again. Allfire has spent a decent amount of time here. We might potentially even get stopped on his back. Toxin's trying his best to protect that. But he will get his back off, but that's a lot of time wasted in the bot side.
It is, and it's good to see Allfire still keeping up the tempo and the pressure here, which is something that I guess you wouldn't expect in this type of matchup, as Arth seems to be pretty content just hitting his camps for the time being, which is unfortunate to see Xin Zhao do, although we are still only 5 minutes in. This champion does have a ton of time to look for these early plays, but honestly, with Allfire only 2 camps down and Xin Zhao having to reset here, Allfire's just been more proactive in this matchup than Arth. Even though he hasn't had any kills to his name, he's burned flashes and taken pressure away from Hawthorne, and I think that's a good thing to see in this matchup, Colonel. As Arth starts Drake, I think it'll go uncontested.
Looks like Allfire might be able to spot it out, but I do want to point out the repeated visits in the mid lane from Allfire and then again from Toxin has started to help Kyton explode a CS lead. He has a 20 CS lead to his name. Now this is spotted, and as his bot lane takes a reset,
oh no,
this is heartbreaking. He's gonna say thank you very much for the leash. Now Allfire actually going to be engaged upon encounters, has the ultimate on top of him. Now Allfire taking down really low, but Kyton is doing so much work on the bottom side. He's gonna try and kill Godzilla. First blood going over to the Jinx, and now the Ziggs is soon to follow. Arth can't even walk up. The Drake is leashed. Thank you very much. And 2 kills added to the lane. The hook does go wide. We'll see if Kyton seems to want something else. Is he going to continue to walk forward? Is he going to continue to get damage? He is now exhausted, trying to get a little bit more, but the HP bar is so low, and Arth blows up this Edgewani. Now both DPs coming down. Wow, we are having a fight. Kai, oh, the hook right out of the W. Now counter's going to fall, but Wukong is here. He's going to be able to get 1 on the backside with the Cyclone onto 3, flashing away, but he has no boss cone to help him get away. Now they're trying to fight this 3v4. Toxin does miss the Q. Now the next hook is going to land. Cleanse immediately out of Buckby. He has to keep himself safe. But that is going to end up being in VBU's favor. 3 for 2 plus the Drake to their name.
And Toxic is a slow Colonel.
You've got to be kidding me. You had so much time to be safe, but he's actually baited him in as Arth is going to take down real low, but he will die regardless. And now maybe it's his jungler who he's baited in. Allfire is ridden so deep, and that's yet another kill. Toxin, what are you doing?
Oh no, he oversteps after the fight is done looking for, I don't know, Colonel, and all of a sudden Hawthorne starts with a disaster. That was a minute-long fight, Colonel, as Arth starts it alone. Everything goes wrong as the bot lane bases. They're punished, but a minute and a half of a fight ends up coming out positive for Hawthorne at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we talked about that Xinjiao, who you had more time to do it, but he wanted to get ahead. Now 2-0-1 after he has by himself the longsword already. And as soon as he's done with his back, I don't know if we can toggle for gold, but he's got to have a thick set of pockets because he's going to, oh man, he's going to have so much in his pocket and he's topping the charts. He's going to be such a happy camper.
He is, but Arth, base!
Oh no!
Oh my!
Kyton with the solo kill onto Hardstock Brother. And I mean, he is, I guess I probably should have mentioned him. Thank you, Kyton, for reminding me, but he is 2-1-2 himself. So he did also be one of the highest benefactors for VBU's side, as we might see a gank on the top side, knocking Shen out of his dash that will be able to get stacks, but well done with the W to avoid that last tick to get stunned. But Paul, what do you think about that last fight?
I mean, oh my god, his Tyson never stops.
Never can keep talking. Toxin hooked again, and now there's so much damage. Toxin's going to fall. Counters will find himself yet another kill, and wow, this support, Matty Mice, doing a lot of work, and these hooks continue to land, and Toxin with another misstep.
Honestly, Colonel, I just have to say this, dude. Watching Matty Mice's Thresh is one of the best things ever. This guy is so good at landing his skill shots, and oh my god, I actually think it's such a joy to see because he hit every hook in that last river fight. He hits another hook in lane, and it just feels like 9 minutes in, he's like winning the game for his team by himself, and it's just amazing to see. But with that said, Allfire is setting up a 10 top lane, Colonel, and there's another fight in the top side.
Coming out with the Cyclone, trying to get some CC originally. Now they're going to finally get the one more, but the W is blocking that stun from landing. And now, the ultimate fadeaway straight into Shen's back will get them yet another kill on the top side.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very weird dynamic that we're experiencing in this game, whereas another hook
Every time you pan down, a hook is landed, and Toxin's dying yet again. The Ziggs ult comes down to no avail. And Toxin down 0-3 now. This bot lane is starting to explode out of its own fruition.
Yeah, and I mean, when Matty Mice is just able to hit this many hooks, how are you supposed to play the game as Valkyrie gets canceled, Colonel. No chase by Ziggs. So,
if Ziggs had anyone to help him, that would have been a dead Kyton. But unfortunately, no one to come into the mid lane. And now, can we take some inventory? Who's going to be the big people to watch out for after all of his fighting?
Yeah, honestly, Colonel, as you see, the gold lead is still even favored 300 to VBU, so obviously VBU aren't out of this game, but I think what you're seeing is VBU's bot lane is it's just irrelevant now. There's nothing they can do to play the game. There's 30 farm down in the ADC role, 3 kills down. The support has died 3 times. There's just not a lot VBU's bot lane can do here, but the solo lanes of VBU are dominant at the moment as Kite ends up 20 farm. As, I mean, Hearthstone Brother finds some
Dominant
plays.
Asher. Oh, from downtown! Arth will gonna secure the kill. That synergy is ridiculous. Arth ready and waiting. Now, All Fire taken down really low. Arth wanted to try and dash in, but that is beautiful from counters as he gets the assist all the way from base.
God, Colonel. I can't believe what I'm seeing, the amount of plays that Hawthorne are making. They aren't the easy ones. I feel like Hawthorne's the type of team that never takes the easy play, so every time that something pans for them, it's the craziest thing I've seen in my life. Oh my goodness. And after all of that, Colonel, I think we're seeing the solo lanes of VBU versus the jungle and ADC of Hawthorne, because the Xin and the Ashe are so fed, whereas besides Kite and Akbalo, no one's really strong on the side of VBU. So I guess we're seeing what early game lane pressure can do against strong solos in a scaling composition at the end of the day. But honestly, Colonel, how good has the bot lane of Hawthorne been this game?
So on point. Both of them are playing, honestly, some of the best form that we've seen them in all tournament long. And now, what a beautiful time to start turning even hotter, just as you're going to try and make your miracle run from the bottom of loser's bracket. Uh-oh, Bugby is going to find a hook straight to the face. He's going to cleanse, but for absolutely no reason, countering out a kill. And on the other side, Kyton is able to get this solo kill onto Ziggs using that flash, as well as the package. His team was there, but solo kill nonetheless.
Yeah, I guess package is a little bit strong and it blows up Hardstuck Brother before he can even care about it. And with the plates crashing mid, I think at the end of this all, VBU are still going to be up gold, which is honestly such a surprise to me considering how we've seen these fights go, as Arth is going back in.
Arth is going in trying to deliver Godzilla, but he was unable to get close enough to... Oh, his Ash Arrow does continue to go, but he was unable to get close enough to deliver that taunt into the back line. But regardless, the play will fizzle.
Yeah, and Colonel, honestly, it's crazy. I think the most important thing to note here is that VBU are even in a scaling team composition, and even though it feels like Hawthorne have all the momentum in the Worlds, it does feel like VBU, if they really know what they're doing, should feel very comfortable in this game, because, I mean, if any man can carry the late game, it's Kaiden, as Heartstuck Brothers...
Oh no, Heartstuck Brothers, the CC is ridiculous. His ult couldn't even fall down before Akbalo gets the kill. As the hook lands in the middle, and that's going to be a kill. Regardless, Toxin will fall yet again. Arth on a rampage, now 4-0-3. This support continues to hit hook after hook, regardless of his mid laner actually dying.
Ay, Dios mío, Colonel. And I just can't believe how many hooks Matty Mice has hit onto Toxin just 13 minutes into the game. It feels like it's been so many. It's honestly devastation for the bot lane of VBU, though, again, it's really important to note here how far ahead the solo lanes of VBU are. They're 50 farm up in the top lane, they're 30 farm up in the mid lane, down a lot of kills as well, and I think that unless Matty Mice and counters are able to snowball this game out bottom with a dive here even harder, I don't know.
Oh, forcing out the TP, the hook does land. I'm not sure if you want to take that one. They will be taking it regardless. They're doing a lot of fighting, but the Ash Arrow is going to go wide. The Xin Tower is going to get popped, but that's 2 kills immediately for counters. He's going to take up the tower. That's a flash forward for Akbalo. Can he find the Cyclone? No. He's going to get hooked up. He's going to get flayed away. Matty Mice will give over his life to keep counters alive. And now, oh no! Glacial Prison onto Godzilla as he actually TP'd down and then continued to walk. And wow, bloody fight at the end of the day goes pretty even. Now counters 6-1-2. His team is trying so hard to keep him in the game.
Absolutely, as they try another proactive dive here, knowing that they have to force the issue even harder onto this bot lane, but with the TP in, this dive ends up getting pretty sketchy here, Colonel, as they are able to trade back Buckby and Toxin, but another TP coming in to just punish the bot lane of Hawkthorne for trying to make this proactive play, and they end up trading back 2 for 2 at the end of the day. However, they do get both TPs from the solo laners of VBU, so if they're able to punish with a TP play of their own, as theirs are coming up first, at the end of the day, this is an even trade that you can be okay with.
Yes, and I love how you said that they have to continue to push the order because they are the early game team and they are still finding themselves in a gold deficit despite all the playmaking that has occurred. Most of all, keep your eyes on Arth and keep your eyes on counters. Those are the big, strongest members and always watch Manny Mice because these hooks have been gross. But those are the people that have all the gold. These are the people that have to continue to push the pace for Hawkthorne because remember, VBU does win in the scale.
They do win in the scale, and honestly, I think it's important to note out itemization, like items here so far, as we're seeing like where our advantages are showing via mythics by themselves, and with as another fight starts.
Hook straight into the bush. They had it warded out. He has no way to escape. The Jinx ult comes in at the end to no use, and now Arth potentially even looking for more, but Kyton is here. Kyton is ready. He's going to be flashing forward. He's going to be looking in with the ultimate. He's going to find the kill, and now the rest of his team is going to look in. The package is going down. Matty Mice is going to burn. Wukong will find himself the kill. Godzilla is going down low, but shut down, going over to the Ziggs. Arth, can he escape? No, that's a double kill going over to Kyton on the top side, and now they're going to try and continue to fight. Counters is looking for the 1v1 onto Kyton. He's going to do a lot of damage. His shield bow is going to get popped, and now he's going to Valkyrie away, but the damage is going to continue down. Shut down. They're both going to die at the end of the day. Hearts Up Brother will help his ADC out to even that, and at the end of the day, Hearts Up Brother is the only one left alive. Buckby trying to finish off that slow to try and kill the Ziggs, but what a bloody fight.
Yeah, Colonel, and it's really honestly a duel at this point between the two players we saw fighting in River. It's really a duel between Counters, Ashe, and Kyton's Corki, as both of these players are absolutely taking over these team fights in their own right, trading kills back and forth between themselves as there's a contest onto the dragon.
That is Stand United trying to deliver Godzilla. Once again, is to find themselves a little short, but after losing the fight, they are continuing. They're so aware of what their team composition needs to do. They need to continue to push the envelope, and they're trying to fight for this Drake. It is just the third Drake. It's not an important one, but they know that scaling is not in their favor. They know they have to contest every single objective. Now they're trying to wait it out, trying to get the vision, waiting for Counters to arrive. Remember, he is one of their big carries. Arth is trying to find the damage onto Toxin. Toxin almost getting caught playing with fire there in the bottom side, and now they're going to walk up together as a team at the bottom of the river. They're sped up by the Karma, flashing forward for All-Star, and now there's going to be so much damage. Counters is blown up immediately. The Cyclone to get a second one. That's a double kill going over to Kyton. He's doing so much work. They're going to continue to find more. That's a triple kill going over to Kyton. He is unstoppable. He's going to come and find more. Give him the penta. He's going to find himself the quadra. Kyton, you've got to give it to him as Arthur going to be finds a penta kill going over to Kyton.
And Colonel, I can't believe that without package, VBU are able to find the pentakill and the ace around this dragon. I guess they just group up as a team and Toxin's able to speed up the entire team and they flash onto Counters, all fire finding such a clutch stun onto Counters, chain CCing him and sending him straight to the gray screen. And as soon as their most fed member gets one shot, it's just lights out for the side of Hawthorne, and Kyton comes around to clean up for the pentakill, and it's VBU favored now.
This is the VBU that we know, and the VBU that you either love or you love to hate, because Kyton is on fire. Now 12 kills to his name, 18 minutes in. He is a man above. Now 1v3 in the mid lane, and all eyes have to be on him because now the scaling, remember, is still in his favor, and he is why, if he's going to stay alive, VBU are going to look so good in these team fights.
Yeah, and Colonel, as the he picks up his 12th kill, his champion scales, and how accelerated is he? His team being 4K up, and if we can see the gold on each champion, I think it might be, I wouldn't be surprised if it was all 4,000 gold up on him as Toxin gets caught again.
Oh, you hate to see it. That will be his 7th death of the game as Counters will cash in yet another one. I have to point out that although Counters they will not look any further onto Buckby. But although Counters is the one that has the gold, he is the one that has a lot of the damage. He did build Shield Bow, so he does not do the most damage focusing on that survivability. I'm not sure if it's the correct buy here.
It might be, but if it can't save him from that dive play that VBU created last time, as it looks like Akbalo might be looking for more here, Colonel.
That's the
And
cycle.
mid
There
is
will be
also-
a fight. There will be a fight on two regards. As the second silo comes out, Godzilla finally using his flash, but that's going to be downtown. Glacial Prison will find its mark to get Akbalo his 5th kill of the game, 5-1-9. He is one of their other carries. Remember, this was a battle of the solo lane dominance for VBU that we've seen them being used all throughout the split to great results before their early exit out of the upper bracket. Now trying to fight their way back with exactly what they found success in.
Yeah, and I mean, Akbalo and Kite, and I know we saw Akbalo out for last week, but here he is back, and honestly, his Wukong has looked fantastic so far this game. Absolutely. I mean, a little bit of a... wait, Colonel, counters might be caught.
Oh, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Kain is doing so much godlike, but he will be trading his life. He's going to shut down. That's a massive shutdown on the Zinjao. Now they're going to continue to fight. Allfire will die for his mid laner. Singe, just a little bit of over-aggression, a rare mistake out of Kaiten.
Wow, and Kaiden oversteps there, costing his team what could be the Baron if they can try to force it here, Colonel. This could be amazing if they go for this play, but Kaiden, just so many kills to his name, wants to force the issue and press the envelope himself, and he gets punished for it. He does get punished for it. Toxin die solo?
Taking a lot of damage to Ziggs coming out. He's going to be able to sidestep that, but has to flash now. Ziggs flashing out as well to try and find that kill, but Toxin trying his best, but he's very clearly struggling now, doing a lot of trade damage, and the health bars are going low. Heartstone Brother now is in a little bit of danger on his own, but so far, there's no one here to help either side.
Yeah, and it's a support versus mid laner duel in shocking fashion. Toxin is collecting another wave bottom of golden experience for himself, trying to get to that second item. And Colonel, there hasn't been a dry moment in this game, as it doesn't feel like these teams are necessarily playing together as a team, but they're just going for individual skill checks on each other until one of Nexus explodes. And though it's not the most structured thing in the world, it's definitely exciting to watch.
It is awesomely entertaining. And now looking into, wow, Cayenne encounters. We talked about them a lot, but obviously there's so much preparing them. Each of them are going to be the two carriers. As Rift Herald does spawn in box time, they will get themselves a Drake. And Hawkthorne is posturing on the side of Baron. They are actually going to be starting it. They are aware of where the rest of VBU is, doing a lot of damage very quickly. They're going to get mid-prio for VBU, but they're just unaware, but they will be pulling off. Interesting. They could have done a lot. Jinx is on the bottom side. She does not have anything. They're looking for the Ash Arrow, trying to find the hook, setting up for Allfire. That's going to be a lot of damage onto the jungler before he can get off his Aftershock. Now this is a lot of damage, but Matty Mice is super low. Counters is trying to peel away this Wukong, but flashing in, and now Godzilla is going to find one. Now Akbo, can you continue to do the work? Kaien has finally arrived. The package is massive. He's going to find one. He's going to help Wukong get his second. Arth is dead, and the beautiful fight from VBU. Triple kill going over to Kaiten, and VBU can get everything. Oh no! Our stuck brother getting, we'll call it the fadeaway onto Toxin.
Yeah, and the fadeaway it is. Let's look at this fight as it starts. Matty Mice counters and Arthur wrapping around the corner, trying to pick out the Sejuani, but if you burn so much of your resources trying to burn their tank, that means that the carries of VBU are able to hit for free, as honestly Akbalo stole so much time for Kaiten to get here, and once Kaiten arrives with the package, it is just lights out for Hawthorne. If they're not able to find the damage to get the kills before the carry arrives, then you might as well not look for the play at all. And honestly, this just spells disaster for Hawthorne, as with the Baron to their name and so much gold on the side of specifically Kaiten, it's going to be a tough one for Hawthorne to come back into.
Yeah, all eyes should be on VBU. I very much expect them to be able to continue this, but I have to point out that they did all of that fighting with Jinx being the one in the side lane. Her ult didn't even get any damage. It went into the shield that was given over by Thresh onto the Ziggs. So winning that 4v5 is very troublesome for Hawkthorne Esports.
Yeah, and I mean, Colonel, I think there's something too important to note. I think we need to make a public service announcement to all of these teams. So Kaiten, he's this really cool mid laner that plays for VBU, as the Glacial Prism flies wide. He plays this champion called Corki. And every series we cast to Kaiten, he gets Corki at least one game.
Yeah.
And that is one game too many, so EGL put him on blast. Guys, if you're playing against Kaiden, you can't play against this Corki, okay?
Fed up by the Karma. All Fire is going to continue to go in. Wukong getting the dash, but Godzilla, your health bar is just disappearing. He's going to get a beautiful flash straight into the blast cone, but the downtown snipe, not enough. That's a lot used, but VBU was unable to find anything. Baron is still on the table for them if they choose to do so.
Yeah, and honestly, Colonel, I just don't see a way for Hawthorne back in the game. And Corki does have an Amped Helmet inventory. Very interesting. Maybe Kaiden knows some secret technology. I don't, but it looks a little funny next to all the AD items nonetheless as the Baron is going down, Colonel. And I don't think Hawthorne can contest, but it looks like out of desperation they might try to anyway.
It's going down 3,000, 2,000. There's nowhere near close enough for a smite as VBU will secure the objective, and now they could be fishing a barrel on this top side of the jungle. Kaiden is going to be sped up. Those rockets do so much damage from the missile barrage. The box being used just to stall, but Kaiden on a rampage nonetheless. Ziggs tickling them at this point as the bruisers continue. Glacial Prison once more fired wide, but charging down the mid lane as the outbars are still healthy enough. Kaiden down to just about half, but he does have the red buff. The wave clear is decently good though, so they will be able to do a lot.
Oh my god,
every
damage.
missile hurts so bad. Wow, what? Arth, what are you doing? He's going to be ulting in, taking a lot of shielding, but he's trying to survive as he's kited away from it. Now, act below. Going to get a shutdown, actually. The rocket will find the last one. Kaiden is unstoppable as Connors will finally fall. And Heartside Brother, we've seen this scene once before. 1v all as Kaiden will get the double kill. 19 kills, and this should be game for VBU.
Yeah, and I wonder if Kaiden's going to look for the 20 bomb here as the game begins to close. And, oh, the hook lands. And I think that, honestly, that VBU are going to look to fish around a little and maybe mess around for just one more kill.
They're just messing around. Ace going over VBU. The Nexus explodes, getting himself that 20 kill, 24-5. Kaiden, he put on a show.
Oh my god, and again, EGL, please do your homework. Please do your homework. Please ban Kaiden's Corki. I beg, I plead. If you look at the damage charts, it's not even close. It's just unreal.
That is disgusting.
But with that said, Colonel, I think there's a lot of hope still for the side of Hawthorne because they had a dominant performance from their bot lane, absolutely picking apart the duo of Toxin and Buckby. And if you're able to maybe play a little differently in draft, pull some pressure off your solo laners to overperform on these lane picks and maybe put them into just like, I don't know, even safer matchups or even, I want to say safer because they were playing pretty safe matchups, but I would say maybe more consistent matchups, something that you can more comfortably go down a kill in and still survive because if you're going to let these solo lanes run all over you, it's just GG already no matter how well your bot lane performs.
Absolutely. And remember, they did focus a lot of bans, but the problem is there's just so much on the ban list. They got rid of Silas, they got rid of Echo, and they got rid of the Yone, all in Kaiden's champion Ocean, as well as the Diana and the Seraphine, maybe removing that Diana to focus even more heavily on these solo laners, because that was a great showing. I have to give so much kudos to Kaiden for how he's been able to consistently be the top performer on a team that we know has so much happening on the backside.
Absolutely, Colonel. And honestly, I think that I'm lost for words.
Yeah, I have the exact same reaction. We are going to head to a quick break before we get into draft for game 2. That is an amazing show. I had to say it one more time. Holy crap, Kaiden. Don't do it to them in game 2. They have families, you know. But we are going to head to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Watch Kaiden do it again maybe in game 2. But stay tuned.
Dame toda la noche, no nos queda mucho tiempo más. No quiero perder lo que queda. Seguimos siempre la pasión y confiamos solo en el amor. Yeah. No quiero perder lo que queda. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, hasta que me convierta en rayos. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad. Y más
I'm headed to the bottom of the bottle. I've been drowning, I've been floating away. Every other dollar that I got in bed, I probably went and pissed it away. I ain't fucking okay, I ain't liking it, babe. I don't even wanna talk, I'm just smoking my haze. I've been stuck in my ways, I've been stuck here for days. I've been staring at the clock as the radio plays. I'm enslaved. Yeah. Rolling another, I'm stuck in my seat for the whole control of my speech. Yeah, I've been trying to get off this couch for a minute and a whole damn week. No kidding, I'm skinny, I cannot eat. Got a million motherfuckers that depend on me. Yeah, every friend in my family. From a girl, every fan I meet myself. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down to make new thoughts, like jumping off of that rooftop. Whole life never when I knew not to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yo, steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. Full of stage, trying to find my pain. See the sun coming out of that rain. My day really not game. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never behave. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over. Yeah, I'm a slave for you. Yeah, I'm a slave. Ripping 100 more less. Never stop, no rest. Till the stress is breath in my chest. Till it's diamonds wrapping my neck. Progress to a god from a goddamn mess. Hopeless, more tests. More blessed. Dug deep down trying to find my best. Find a beast, had to kill a conquest. I'm next. I'm too on till I'm too off. Come down, make new thoughts. Like jumping off of that rooftop. Hold my devil when I do not to make moves based on my mood drops. Like who's lost? Like who's lost? It's yours, go. Steadily killing me, running my brain full of shame. I don't wanna lose it. I'm full of stage, trying to find my pain. I see something coming out of that rain. My team really not tame. I'ma never slow down. I'ma never behave. Stuck inside this prison, inside this cage. It's taking over. Yeah, I'm a slave for you.
Wait, that'd be so fun.
Hello, everybody. We are back for Game 2 of VBU versus Hawkthorne. And what a banger of a first game. That was everything I want. I want 4 more games of that injected straight into my veins. I'm Colonel, once more again, Pack of Paul. What'd you think?
Honestly, Colonel, I think that this has been quite the spectacle for us and for the fans and everybody's watching EGL tonight, because these games are just so chaotic in all the right ways. I think they hit all the right chords because, listen, are they the best plays always? No, but are they always exciting or in every fight winnable for both teams? Like, yes! And that's what makes this league so exciting and so cool. But with that said, Colonel, Shyvana being banned again by VBU Krypton, they don't want none of that full AP Shyvana that Arth brings to the table. And Hawkthorne responding with the Seraphine, which is, again, another VBU staple.
I tweeted out to VBU and got answered in real time, but I have the secret to what Hawkthorne needs to do, and it starts with a B and a C for ban Corky. We'll see when they're going to be doing it. I would expect it to come soon, as I think I'd assume VBU to expect it just as much as we do. But also betting on the own. So far, everything is just the same as it was coming into Game 1, which is a little bit surprising considering what we saw out of Game 1.
It is a bit surprising, but if we do see Hawkthorne change bans from that Diana to the Corky, I think all is well. I think that we only needed to see one change from Hawkthorne. It is just a ban Corky, and that's it. But
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Honestly, VBU Krypton slammed Jinx B1 last game. They are going to slam Corky B1. These maniacs. You would think, Colonel, that after what went right for VBU and what went wrong for VBU, that they would have slammed the Corky and looked for other options at ADC. But instead, we see the Jinx again. What are your thoughts?
I think I need to drop my casting position to go coach this team because that is the simplest change. I'm really surprised that as little flame as possible that they didn't do that. But maybe they know more than I do. Maybe they are prepared to ban it in the second round where they did ban the Sylas and the Echo. Maybe they're planning on doing Sylas and Corky. Or maybe they have a stronger mid lane counter pick that they wanted to put the Ziggs in there for comp reasons last time around. I don't know. I'm pulling at straws here, Pekka.
I mean, I am too, Colonel. The Rel is such an interesting response from Hawkthorne as well, because I feel like that's also a very risky blind, and I don't want them to lose confidence or momentum in their draft. I feel like Rel of Philios is such an interesting answer, but it is a really anti-synergistic combo between the two champions, because Aphelios needs something that can peel him, whereas Rel kind of only goes in one direction for the most part. But with Brand being picked, Colonel, honestly, this draft is absolute chaos in the early game. I think we're seeing a flex coming out from VBU. And Corky gets slammed.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know how, but somehow my third eye was able to see that Corky might get picked. It should have been banned, but regardless, it is going to be picked again. We'll see if Hawkthorne has a better answer for it this time around, because it obviously was rampaging across the rift, and this time going to lock in the Nocturne. This is interesting. Yet another champion high in priority for their jungler Arth, but this time around they have a lot that they want to ban. Not too many ban slots.
Yeah, Colonel, and But to Corki, it's right it's right there, and it's picked for VBU Krypton, and I know they can't listen to the cast, but I just I'm just lost for words. With that said, I guess Nocturne Rel is a nice combo with the Aphelios. It gives them a nice dive option, but with Yasuo and Wukong being banned out and Renekton being the ban trying to pinch Akbalo's pool, I'm just lost for words that the Corki goes by, and I don't know if I can see past it. It's hard for me.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I think that Hawkthorne's plan has to be that they're confident that if they slam the rest of the lanes, that the mid lane won't matter, because that's the only reason that I could see to leave up Corki in a game like this, unless they are that terrified of the Diana that could come out in both the mid and jungle flex, like we have seen it flex before. But now they do have their pick of the litter. They will be looking for the Annie, so potentially looking to just try and farm it out in the mid lane is potentially their answer.
Well, the thing about Annie is it actually has a really, really good matchup into Corki, because unlike a lot of other champions, she has that point-and-click CC, and if she does take Ignite, or she does have her jungler come and help her, there's a ton of kill threat that Annie provides. Now, does it fit with the comp identity? Not really, but if there's any pick to hard lane counter Corki, it actually is the Annie. So maybe Hawthorne said, instead of banning it away, we're going to set a trap to have them pick Corki again. Kind of like that moment way back when Faker was baited into LeBlanc. Maybe Kaiden's been baited into Corki. But nonetheless, Krypton picks Zac, and scaling's the name of the game once again for this side. As, I guess...
apparently not. Never mind. As I wouldn't be surprised if they do lock it in. So it is... No, thank you. We're not going to get some NA Jace this time around. It will be the Aatrox at Drain Tank in the top side. We'll see what Hawkthorne uses to try and counter that. But an interesting draft strategy for Hawkthorne. Maybe I judge you too harshly. I'm sorry. But we'll have to see as we get into game what Annie can do into the Corki that we've seen to be so deadly. And Heartstock Brother had a lot of struggles individually that game, regardless of Corki running over the team fights, as it will be another Shen lock. Really interesting. Shen, I don't like the Shen into the Aatrox specifically, because a lot of Shen's trading potential comes from blocking auto attack based abilities with that W, and Aatrox, if he lands all of his Qs, doesn't really care.
I wonder if it's such a comfort for this player that he doesn't care the matchup isn't good, but waiting all the way to R5 just to kind of counterpick yourself is a bit strange to me. And even though Krypton again commit very far into the scaling, maybe Shen's just making such a big sacrifice for his team comp. Maybe being able to layer the Shen R on top of the Nocturne as the Nocturne ults in and soars in, with the Rel also getting to layer in that engage, and the damage of Aphelios and Annie following short after is the name of the game for Hawthorne. But taking such a rough lane matchup, you have to wonder, will Shen even get out of lane? Because he struggled last game against the Wukong, and that was a favored matchup for Shen. And now you have to wonder, in an unfavorable matchup for Shen, how is he going to operate?
That's really the name of the game, and that's the question that everyone should be asking, because it's going to be so important for these solo lanes to stay strong, to stay confident in their roles in this team fight, because maybe counters can carry you. Maybe the damage we saw, if you're in the same position as you are last game and your Fed members and Aphelios, maybe you feel more confident taking that Baron fight, taking that drag fight. But name of the game is solo lanes. Can Annie and Shen survive and win their lanes respectively against what VBU Krypton has always had as their strongest ability, and that is to always outlane you?
Yeah, Colonel, and that really is the question. But at the end of the day, if I had to pick one team here, I have to go with VBU Krypton, because even though I worry about Jinx Brand as a duo in the bot lane, and I do think that Hawthorne are going to be able to find kills there, I think the top side for VBU Krypton is just too good. And I think that the players that are on their respective champions are just too good. So we saw an 0-7 support last game and it didn't matter. I think even if we see that again, at least Brady can press R before he dies and do a lot. And I don't think that's something Hawthorne is ready to handle. So I think VBU have this game in the bag.
All right, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion's wrong. I'm still a Hawkthorne believer. I have faith in them to come back. Maybe it'll take another game. I'm not too sure. With Corky off the table, the third game, we'll see. But we are going to take a quick break before we head onto the Rift for Game 2 of VBU Krypton versus Hawkthorne Esports. Stay tuned.
The fire makes the city look so bright. Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay while we leave. Stay with me. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me.
Hello, everybody. We are back for Game 2 of VBU versus Hawkthorne. Game 1 was a banger. I'm very much expecting Game 2 to be the exact same thing. All eyes are on Hawkthorne to see if they can come back from that 1-0 deficit.
Honestly, all eyes are on them because they've made a very ballsy decision in draft here to make the play, but it looks like we're having a 5v5 happen topside.
And it's completely warded. They're prepared for it, and they're so ready for this. The relegation is beautiful. You've got to be kidding me. Why are they expecting this? This is some 5th level chess shit, as Zach is going to fall as well, and that is heartbreak. The TP. Oh, Brand's gonna find the kill, and now the HP bars are just too low. Godzilla is gonna get flash on Titan. We'll find one, and now just when I said it, VBU turning around and winning it out. Double kill going over to Titan already. Counters flash to forward on, but stuns up. What are you doing? Akko's gonna fall. Pack the ball. Talk me through this. What is going
Oh
on?
my goodness, both teams go to stack topside, and Hawthorne placed the ward, and instead of VBU just walking away, they decide to clear the ward themselves, and it gives Matty Mice the engage they are looking for as everybody flashes in, and honestly, Hawthorne's carries get the damage down first, but Toxin deals a lot of damage after they're trying to finish off Zach passive right here with his big cone, shutting down the Nocturne, and then Akbelow TP's back in to keep the plays happening, but then Akbelow, he goes in by himself as they're killing Matty Mice on the top side. He just wants these kills, and he flashes into his death, and now that's no flash, no TP from the top laner as Kaiden, the man himself, picks up the kills in the early game, getting that Cole and tier on spawn.
Hawkthorne is... Honestly, I would be crying right now. They're shivering in their boots because, of course, it's the one player that pentakilled you in game 1, that got all of it, and now trying to already work themselves out of a 500 gold deficit just 2 minutes in, and this is really not what you want to see if you're favoring Hawkthorne.
It isn't what you want to see, but you have to have some faith because they did get the first blood. They did make a pretty good play, and even though all the kills went onto the Corgi, they do have advantages in other places of the map. The Nocturne getting the early longsword does make his clear much, much faster, and with Zac losing passive so early in the game and no sums on anybody on VBU, it isn't all bad because they can make plays in this next 5 minutes, 4 minutes, where VBU have gotten the kills, but they have to be able to survive this next 4 minutes of a barrage that should be from the side of Hawthorne before it truly is a long-term lead.
Absolutely. We'll see what they're able to do. Now, if we do check out the junglers, Arth will be finding himself on the top side for top scuttle. Allfire will be doing the same on the bottom side. His bot lane does also have priority, so it should be a decent handshake on the Scuttle Crabs. But Nocturne also has that top lane gank window because Godzilla is being pushed in by Aquilo, and Nocturne is on that top side.
Nocturne is on that top side, and I think Arth might be looking for this play here with a huge wave on the side of Godzilla, and that might be a little too risky for him, Colonel. He does get spotted out by the wave. Walks over to Scuttle instead, and honestly, Colonel, we're already seeing the repercussions of picking Shen into Aatrox. Look at the farm in the top side.
That is disgusting. 18-7. Now, Zac may potentially look for something here. It'd be a little bit deep for my taste, but maybe looking for something, as Matty Mice will spot him out. No, they do know that he is here, but Arth, he is ready to fight. He did get the gold. He does have the longsword, and although he wants to clear to level 6, he actually is going to go straight back. Oh, wait, fighting in the bot side. Whoa! Counter's finding a kill on a Toxin. We've seen this one before. That's a stun. That's a root. Can Counter survive? Yes, he's going to. Matty Mice may give his life. No! Buckbeat! All the way from downtown. Double kill. He's going to find both of them, and more heartbreak on top of Hawkthorne's already devastating early game.
Yeah, and Toxin seemingly gets caught out. We don't really get to see the full play happen, but he gets killed from a long-range Q snipe from counters, but it seems that in the time it takes them to kill Toxin, it's too late, and
there's going to be a lot of damage onto Shen from Aquilo. We talked about this matchup and how important it was for the Shen to stay alive, but he's ticking down. One more Q might do it, but the auto, oh no! An auto is never going to kill from that HP. Godzilla is able to escape from one auto left now on his HP bar. Although he does not burn any sums to do so, he might need to TP back to the top side, but very, very close to even more devastation for Hawkthorne.
it is Colonel, and every League of Legends player's nightmare just happened to me. Got the quick gank by parents in the middle of the cap there. A little bit of devastation, but I have survived. I promise I've overcome my demons, and I will come back stronger. But yeah, I mean, honestly, now looking at the game state after what seemed to be an okay trade of kills early from Hawthorne is just so tough for Hawthorne to play out of now, as all the kills are in all the right places, Colonel. Jinx and Corgi are the Fed members so far of VBU, and with them being the scaling options, if they get online a little too early, it could be an early lights out for Hawthorne.
Yeah, and even harder is the fact that the only lane where there should be an advantage is where in terms of where the gold went, is that Aquilo died twice, but of course the person who lost in all those early fights is the one who has the easiest, winningest matchup. So he's unable to do anything, and now there's going to be a play on the bottom side. So Arthur's the only one who's really comparable in gold to Kyton already, because he has been farming well. He did get a kill to his name as well, so keep an eye out for him, although he's not able to really flex on the mid lane yet with this counter pick that he had prepared. And again, he did bring the TP instead of Ignite, so not a lot of kill pressure. Oh, hold that thought. There's going to be the stun. That's going to be Nocturne coming in with a Paranoia, delivering Shen all the way through to the Brand. Brand was going to die immediately. Now Allfire has to run away. Taunt is onto Buckbeat. He's going to be healing. That's so much damage onto the HP bar of the Jinx, but he will be shut down by the Nocturne as well. Ash being burned, but that's 3 kills going on to the Nocturne at the end of the day, and now they have Drakes in their eye.
They do, Colonel, and that's the difference between strong independent play and strong team play, as they make a team play to absolutely bail out the bot lane of Hawthorne. And when everything seemed very dire, Hawthorne send 4 of their 5 members bottom to make it so this game is still in a death.
Check out that gold graph, how much it spiked down there, fighting from a deficit, but is still definitely not out of the park yet for them. And now, as they continue to stack Drakes, because remember, this is going to be a game for for scaling, but hold that thought, a lot of damage on Matty Mice. He will be able to escape. This is a game that has a lot more scaling options for both teams. We have Kyton as always, but we have counters this time. We have Allfire on a tank, as well as Godzilla once more. So, stacking the Drakes is all the more powerful.
It is absolutely all the more powerful, as Soul decides so many games as well, especially in amateur, as all the play is a little too far off. Heartstock, he almost got himself killed from the he found the jaws of defeat from the safety of life there in a bit of a turn of events, but luckily he gets out with his life. And I think the most important thing to note here is where the kills went for the side of Hawthorne, because Arth having these 3 kills and being able to speed up his early game is so important for this champion, specifically against the Jinx, Colonel. Because if you're Buck me now, you're a little nervous knowing that Nocturne may have the damage early to one-shot you before you get to play the game.
Yup, and just there, Allfire leeching off of some of the top lane XP will find himself at level 6, so now able to get just a little bit more CC on these ganks. We'll see if he's going to pull trigger onto Godzilla. He will be jumping in. Godzilla trying to taunt away, and actually decently well done to avoid that Q from Akbalo and avoiding the gank. This is exactly what you want your Shen on the weak side to be doing.
It is, but it's a little tough to see, even though this is the best I feel that Shen can do. Seeing him down so much farm is still a bit devastating if you ask me, but nonetheless, surviving another gank, being very slippery in this matchup, which is very important since he is basically just here to provide the in for the Nocturne, and early Mythic being finished from the Nocturne, speaking of him, as he's the first person on the map with his Mythic finish, and that does mean the tempo is all in Art's hand.
That is really surprising. Kyton is not the first one. I would not have guessed that. He's almost done with that cold, though. He should not be too far behind. Now Nocturne, he has Paranoia up. His bot lane is looking to posture aggressively as he's walking into the bottom side. He might be looking for a lane gank. He's very prepared for a fight.
He is very prepared for a fight as Brother goes in, Colonel.
Timber's doing a lot of work trying to stun up the Kyton. But Kyton, has reinforcements. Akbalo for the top side. Beautiful flash out of Heartstock Brother. And he will be able to escape, but Akbalo with a beautiful roam forcing out that summoner spell.
It absolutely is a beautiful roam, and they know none the wiser of it as Toxin's getting gone.
Oh, that's an amazing engage. Magnus Storm immediately going to blow up Toxin once more. Deja vu from game 1 as he will die for the 3rd time. And Mighty Mice is able to survive. He does not die from the Super Mega Death Rocket either. And that's going to be some turret plays over to Hawkthorne trading for that Rift Herald.
Yeah, and again, Hawthorne's focus is all in this bot lane and getting this Aphelios ahead and getting this Jinx as shut down as they possibly can, because so much of Aphelios is being able to absolutely walk in on this team comp and one-shot them, as I think Heartstock's getting caught on.
This time around, reinforcements have again arrived, and there's no flash on the mid laner this time around. In a very easy kill, Kyton will take the assist, give that one over to Allfire. I would have liked to see it on the Kyton, but maybe that's just me, as that is yet another successful gank for this Zac.
Yeah, and with the Zac having so many successful ganks on his own, you have to wonder if Arth is able to do enough in this game to pull his team back from this 1,500 gold lead, because all the pressure is on him, and it seems that his solo lanes are just getting outperformed left and right, whether that be on matchup or whether that be on player performance, you decide, but it's looking tough as VBU take first tower with that Rift Herald.
Yup, and that explodes the even massive gold lead already that was had. Oh, barely pulled back. This Godzilla, he did have the taunt, but was trying to save it to get in range. And now that feels so bad because remember, Kyton doesn't necessarily need help. He is a scaling champion. He is going to stay strong as he does finish the shield bow. And Jinx has already been incredibly accelerated. So this is a call from VBU and from Allfire to make sure that all of his lanes are going to be strong once it comes to team fights.
It really is. And Colonel, important note here from Kyton himself. He has switched up his build for game 2, going with the shield bow instead of the Divine Sunderer. Now, the Divine Sunderer offers a little more DPS, but he realizes his scheme that there's going to get dove on often. And because of that, he pivots his build, and we see that so infrequently out of players in amateur being able to adapt to what the team is trying to do, whether that be through itemization or play. And Kyden again just killing it on this Corki, knowing so much about the champion being so comfortable as a Drake fight looms, and I don't think Hawthorne are in a position to fight it.
Hawkthorne is already ticking down from Brand. As Felix is here, he's going to get rooted, and that could be the engage. They're going to be looking in. That's going to be a good amount of damage onto the backside, but Arth is on the backside of VBU as well. Toxin is going to be flamed. That's so much damage already onto Hawkthorne's carries. Double kill going over to Kyan already. Arth is now having to run, but there's nowhere left to go. Triple kill going over to Kyan, and Deja Vu from game 1. Yet again, 5-0-2 on this Corki.
And Colonel, we talked about it in draft. Maybe we thought they had an answer, but Hawthorne, you're kind of trolling us in draft here. You can't give him Corki again and again. I sound like a broken.
He's looking for the outplay. Oh, with the flash, trying to find his way. He could not get anything else, but credit where credit is due. In a 4v1 to find one more kill, Toxin will go down for his 4th time.
He will fall once again as they do trade back another kill and all of the plates on the bottom tower, so it's still beneficial for VBU to make this trade. But Colonel, I'm gonna sound like a broken clock here, but you can't give Kyton Corki, and he's just performing again and again and again on this champion as many might say overstepped here.
Or it may be VBU has in fact overstepped. There's going to be the TP coming down. Now they're going to try and fight through this many mice. But as the flash forward fleeing is Akblo as he's going to get slain by the Nocturne. Now Nocturne trying so much to do the damage, but it just HP bar disappearing way too quickly. Now VBU is the one that got it. Oh, flashing out of Tibber. Beautifully done. And now Hardstuck is going to be taking a lot of damage. Taunt there to just save his mid laner, but he may give his own life in the process. Shield Bro is and stays alive. Buckley gets the kill. And once more, VBU on top.
Yeah, and Kyton TP's in again and cleans up the play. This man is just too good on Corki. I don't know how many times I can say it. Hawthorne overstepping time and time again and getting punished by this long-range artillery mage. And just as we thought we saw them pull the game back, it's almost 7,000 gold to their name in the lead here. And again, we always talk about it in the pre-draft, what team has the scaling comp, and VBU up 7k with the scaling comp. They're going to have to find so many picks here if you're Hawthorne to get yourself back in the game. As they find one onto the man himself, Toxin once more.
Solo support in the mid lane is definitely not the meta. I can't confirm after watching that. Arth will take a 6 kill, and although it feels so strong of a position for VBU, we have to remember where the gold is going to lie in Hawkthorne's pockets, and a lot of it, again, just like game 1, is on Arth encounters.
It is on Arth encounters, and it does look a little less dire than last game because at least Annie is still in the game, though the top matchup does look a bit the same. But at the same time, Colonel, the lead from the ADC and jungle of Hawthorne isn't as big as it was last game as well, so I think we're seeing a much more mismatch. We're seeing the same story, but with a different outcome here, because we're seeing a bit more of a mismatch as Hawthorne
deleted before the Super Mega Death Rocket could even land. Now Akblo, maybe forcing a fight at the top side. I'd be surprised because there is reinforcements. But Matty Mice encounters force out of the bottom river. There's still 2 minutes left until Drake, but VBU show no signs of stopping.
They really do show no signs of stopping as their carries are all just so strong. And Colonel, if you're Hawthorne, the way you get back into this game is trying to find a pick as frequently as you can before the next Drake spawns. I talk about it so much, and I think instead they're going to opt into a 3v3 topside. We'll see how it goes.
Look, trying to keep Godzilla alive, but he's dead before reinforcement could even arrive. And Matty Mice is just there to help counters pick up the remaining farm, but yet another successful pick, and now that's Nocturne once more. Wow, Deja Vu! Brand solo in the mid lane, and yet another death onto the support. Arth is trying his best to claw back this deficit.
He is, and these picks are just being handed over by VBU as they find another in the top side.
The
Oh
blue
my.
squad of VBU continuing to fight through, but now Allfire might potentially overstep. Is that the beautiful Magnus Storm popped into passive is Zach. And now Godzilla is going to be arriving with Stand United. He's going to have the taunt shut down going over to Nocturne, the same person we were talking about. Now the taunt is there. A lot of CC on the Aquilo, but he is strong. Watch out for that damage as Matty Mice is going to go down decently low. Godzilla is able to escape, and it looks like they will handshake. It cannot win. The 2v1. Oh! Sniper down. Buckby will find his 5th. VBU, just when you thought that they were on the back foot, still finding the kills.
They do, and it seems like there was such a disconnect as Toxin is called again.
Oh, no, you hate to see it. He's still got a family, guys, as this is bullying. Cyberbullying at its finest. 1-7. And, I mean, I got to give credit to Hawkthorne. They're still looking around the map to try and find these opportunities. And 15 seconds till Drake. That's a great timing.
It is great timing, but what I was going to say as Matty Mice and Arthur were in the top side trying to fight the Aatrox, there's such a disconnect right now from Hawthorne because Hardstuck and Counters were walking down to the Drake as Arthur and Matty Mice were going up onto the Shen, and just there's so much disconnect from Hawthorne, and now even though as there's more fighting, I think Matty might just be dead here.
He's gonna get them slow blocked, but yes, he's going to fall. Kyten, of course, is the one picking up the kill. As that will transform his Muramana as well. Now 7-0-4, and I mean, if you took off the nameplates, I would have thought this was game 1 all over again. And once more, VBU with the scaling composition looks so powerful in the mid game.
They do, Colonel, and honestly, I think it's important to talk about that. How similar does this look from Game 1? This is the definition of insanity for Hawthorne. They literally even lock in the Shen again in a matchup that just wasn't working last game, and they're just trying and trying again to no avail to solve VBU playing Jinx Quirky carry system, and it's just not working, and it's so frustrating to see as an analyst, as a coach, as a caster, to see this team adapt their play after what went wrong game 1. And honestly, Colonel, I don't want to say it's game over because I do believe in miracles and I do believe in the engage of Hawthorne, but if you're looking at game 3, you just can't have this happen a third time. We can't watch a third game of the same thing happening again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, putting themselves at that deficit, now they will have to reverse sweep to be able to come back if this game does continue to go. So unfortunately, Hawkthorne, it not working out. This was their strategy. They were prepared for this, and they did pick to go on red side, so maybe getting their chance on blue side, stopping VBU from that first pick Jinx that they're so confident in, Buckby's abilities, might be in favor.
It really might be in favor, and as well, maybe going blue side lets you change a ban because you can pick it away from them and maybe you can pick the Diana or you can pick the Yone in place of the Corki and ban the Corki away and also take away one of their power picks. That is the power of having the first pick in the draft, and I don't know if that's an adaptation they are prepared for, if they know they're capable of, but you have to try something. If you're Hawthorne, you can't just go on red side again for a third game and run your head into a Jinx Corki once more. With that said, Colonel, if they can find a couple more picks onto this brand, who knows? Maybe the goal difference can be made up somehow, some way, and there's a feeling as strong as they're trying.
This is going to be a lot of damage. Arthur's flashing forward, going to deliver the Shen, but he will find the kill. Actually taunted out, and now there's Annie on the backside, but she does miss Timber shutdown, going over to her, and this may be the first signs of hope for Hawkthorne as they're going to continue to play. Allfire will get the kill onto one. Nocturne does leave his mid laner for dead, but for the first time, Hawkthorne is ahead of a play.
They are ahead of a play, and it's honestly off the engage of Arth and the overextension of the bot lane of VBU. Again and again and again, this bot lane overextends and gets punished, and it's making a game that should be in the dirt, winnable for both sides still. As some poke comes down onto Kyten, the emote flies as the damage means nothing to him, but it looks like Hawthorne are looking for more without their ultimates, and this could be dangerous, Colonel.
I'd be surprised. This is very, very dangerous. Kyten is so ready, but they're going to have the TP in. There's going to be the Magnus Storm from Matty Mice. He's going to fall, but he will find one. Now Taunted is back below, but Kyten is running a rampage on the backside. The health bars are low, but it's Kyten versus the world. He will have to flash away. He'll have to run to his bot lane, who has just respawned. Aklo will buy himself the Sterix, so if he's able to TP in, this could be a fight that they want, but they're trying to corral them into this river. They're trying to look for the fight. Can they get the stun onto Kyton? They can, but this follow-up taunt, is not there. Nocturne has walked away to try and heal in the river. At the end of the day, once more, Hawkthorne on top.
And maybe when I thought the game was over, it isn't quite yet, because they do find a good play and Toxin walking in where he shouldn't be.
Blown up by Arth's brother, and now one more time, Arth has the ultimate paranoia, and Kyton has to be fearful. Shut down 1,000 gold in the pocket of Nocturne, 11 and 3. Now Arth has all the power in his hands. He has the smite, he has the Baron, and if he can secure this, this could be Hawkthorne's ticket getting the game.
And Colonel again, a pick again and again and again, and VBU just can't be posturing like this if they want to win the game, as Buckbeak walks in by himself and is in a dangerous position to be caught. The Baron is down so low, Colonel, and I think we're going to see another fight over this objective.
Allfire is prepared to go over the wall. He's preparing the jump, but he's going to get knocked out by Matty Mice. He can no longer do it. The rocket comes in. It's not going to find its mark, and now they are able to disengage. 3v5 is not there. They will get their backs off counters. May have overstepped. He does have red white gun. He does have the ability to outplay this, but his HP bar and his teammates' HP bar is just not there. He lost the red gun. He has no more mana. Counters will die. He's going to fall now. Godzilla maybe next on. Kyton has arrived. He's going to find the TP. He's going to be able to find the kill. Can Godzilla escape with the Baron? No, he cannot. Kyton will find himself the double kill. And VBU trying to stomp on the hopes of Hawkthorne Esports.
And Colonel, just as they find something good, Kyton comes back again to punish them, and it's just so devastating. But Hawkthorne do have signs of life in this game. I know the Baron power play shows them down 1.7, but if we look at the gold graph, they are still in a better position than they were before. And with they're going on.
Arth is going in again. Brand once more in the death chamber, and now Allfire has to escape, but that is the Drake. They left their team to fight in the base, and then Drake is still alive, but the push can continue to happen. It looks like it's actually going to be a TP. They're going to be looking for the 2v2 in the river. That's the Shen ult coming in. It will be a 3v2 eventually. Allfire is trying to escape. He's trying to get taunted. Oh, he was going to get taunted. He's going to get the CC, but he's going to fall before the Drake will. He has to dash out. He still has a blast gun, but he's not going to look for it. So that will be the secure for Arth, as they will tie the Drakes, trying their best to stall this game from going in. Allfire delivering himself into the Drake pit, actually potentially giving his life, but he's stalling for Kyton. This is the carry VBU needs. Can he get the damage in? Matty Mice is going down super low. Kyton will get him with one more rocket, and now he can continue to walk forward. Arth has the GA available. He's going to do so much damage, but the rest of the team has arrived, and Heartstruck Brother will destroy Buckbeak. And now they have to continue to walk forward, but Kyton, this time around, although he's 10-1-5, cannot have free reign of these team fights.
He can't, because time and time again, the bot lane of VBU is getting caught out. And I can't believe that even though it is 8k down, how even this game feels, Colonel. As Hawkthorne, it doesn't matter the gold state, it seems. They're just able to find the fights that work for them. And honestly, it's all on the back of Arth in this pick on Nocturne.
13-3. He's doing so much work. His damage is ridiculous. Toxin was able to try and play it out, escape when he was caught in the mid lane maybe 5 or 6 minutes ago, but now he's getting blown up before he even gets a chance to press his buttons. Now he has to hope that Buckbeak, that Kyton, that Aklo can carry these team fights, because Brand is finding next to no use.
He really is, and I was going to say look at the gold graph and look at how they've pulled it back, but I guess they haven't even pulled it back, Colonel, because they are throwing back on the other end. But it's unbelievable to see the carry performance on Arth, on a champion that doesn't really deal a lot of damage, just being so far ahead that he is able to get that damage out. And we see the people in chat saying that VBU are win trading, and, you know, I'm not going to agree here, Colonel, but I just think it's so sloppy from a playoff team to not be able to close out a game from this state. And if you're a fan of VBU, you have to be hoping that your team just wakes up and plays together in groups as 5 and tries to close out this game cleaner than they have this far.
Absolutely. But again, once more, VBU's fans, watch Kyton. He is a monster. He always has been, and now he's set up for success. He just needs that help from his bot lane to stay alive, as Aklo will secure this bot tier 2 tower. Now they're going to fight over the inhibitor next.
They are going to fight over the inhibitor next, and if they let Brand and Corky just rain down with those rockets, as Heartstruck Brothers caught on the top side. Ooh.
The shield is going to speed him up just enough to keep him out. And now that's Arth going to be pulling trigger. He gets both flashes out, but he's not able to continue. Now he's going to Godzilla, will not be able to come in, but Mighty Mice, he has himself the engage. He's going to be flashing forward. He's only going to find one with the Magnus Storm, but now they're going to get the damage on the Buckbeak. Now there's one more you need to kill, and that's Kyton. They're going to find Aatrox, but that's not who you need. It's Kyton or it's nothing. They're going to continue to look in the 5v4, but that HP bars are starting to fall, and Allfire will look back on the re-engage. He's going to get a lot of damage, but can they find it? Arth is on the backside. He's trying to kill Toxin, but Kyton is who you need. He's going to continue to rampage around the rest of the team fight. He's going to Valkyrie back. He's going to be able to kite this out. Toxin will fall, and everyone falling around Kyton. They can't kill the man himself, but his entire team will fall around him.
They will, and at the end of the day, Colonel, you have to be happy if you're Hawthorne. You're able to kite out. Arth plays interception, and he kind of just pushes. Well, we're going to see in the replay here. If you look at Arth this entire fight, all he's doing is running at the backline of VBU. He knows he has GA. He knows he can die here, and because of all of this disruption that Arth is able to provide in the GA, stalling out the time, even though Kyton deals so much damage, they're able to clean up on the backside of the fight, and by the time that Kyton's able to free hit, the fight is over, and Hawthorne has won it, and now they're even though they're 6k down, it almost feels like they're in a neutral state, because if they're able to make Kyton do nothing all fight, then I think they're doing a good job with their play.
This is really impressive for Hawkthorne to try and fight back from such a deficit. And honestly, their fight timers, unfortunately, with the Ocean Drake only spawning in 45, are all around that GA, just like you were talking about with Arth, able to stop Kyton from getting all that damage onto the rest of his team, and able to trade his life, or his GA rather, for the entire rest of VBU's team. And now you have to see how many times does he actually be able to hit, because Kyton, when he hits like a truck. He already has 4 items. He's going to be probably the fastest to finish all of his items, but it doesn't matter if he can't ever hit them.
Exactly, Colonel, and if you look at his scoreline, it was the same as it was at the start of the last fight, and it looks like they're trading Drake for Baron as they're going to start hitting it from Hawthorne, and I don't know if VBU knows the wiser.
Looks like they have no idea. The rocket will confirm it just now as it lands, and now down to half HP. They have no one there. They have no one who can even get there. There's 2 TPs, but they're not comfortable. They don't have anything to TP on anywhere near it, and the Baron is going to fall before they ever arrive. They'll get their backs off. Trying to stop it is Kai, and he has the package, but he's not able to use even a lick of it. He will have to just burn it, and now Hawkthorne, they're really making a comeback.
And Colonel, that is so subtle, but from a macro perspective, that is absolutely immaculate from Hawthorne. They're actually almost ahead in this game, even though they're 4k down. They do have the Baron power play on their side, and as they go on to Toxin again,
and on to Toxin. He finally has himself the stopwatch. He's able to survive, and now this is not what they want. They're going to be re-engaged upon. They get the kill, but at what cost? They're able to get kited back, but Godzilla's HP bar is falling. He's rooted for Matty Mice, and now they could lose everything to try and kill this brand. Double kill going over to Kyton, and this Titan we've been talking about all game has free reign. He can no longer be stopped. Triple kill going over to Kyton. The missiles continue to get in. Buckbeak will steal himself the Quadra, potentially the Penta, as they continue to chase onto Arth, and the Spell Shield will keep him alive for now, but that may be the very last hope that Hawkthorne had.
And Colonel, I mean, I know that it was good to look for those picks in the mid-game onto Toxin, but they've just cost themselves the game, because I think this is GG just like that. They had the Baron, they had the option for victory in their hands, but we might see the game end, but it looks like VBU are hesitant. I think they could have ended there. That's why I was saying it so aggressively, but the game continues. The game rolls on.
Arth just has too much damage on that Q. He's able to clear the entire bit of caster minions, as well as having the Baron. They did not feel like they could get it before respawns happen, and now Arth is walking aggressively. Be surprised if they do take this 2v3, although Paranoia is available, but they will find themselves solace under the tier 1 tower. Arth, oh, he's totally going to stop their backs. He's going to, yeah, there's Zach below. You're not allowed to back here, but there is no objectives up at the moment. They still have 3 minutes until this next Drake spawns, and remember, that will be soul point.
It will be soul point on the cards here for both teams, but I don't know if this game even lasts that long. Both of these teams are constantly posturing to fight as Arth goes
Oh, that's
in
going to be
again.
going in. So much damage onto the brand, but he's able to escape, and now this is re-engaged for Matty Mice. He's going to find one. The Jinx is dead. They will find another and pop the passive of Zac. Now they can continue the fight. The taunt does not land, but it may not matter as Toxin doing a lot of work, trying his best to survive, but Allfire will die on the backside, and now that's one kill going over to Kyton. He has a lot of damage, and the HP bars are pretty low, but he's going to step forward. This shield coming out, counters, is looking for the 1v1. He cannot find it. Kyton with the double kill, going to stomp on the hopes of Hawkthorne Esports, and now VBU, with 2 minutes left until Drake, can finally breathe.
And Colonel, I think we can finally breathe as we go into replay here. Arth just pulls the trigger and combos to almost one-shot the Brandon. Matty Mice finds the nastiest Rel engage, winning his team the fight. Now, what Hawthorne need to do here is they need to back off and take objectives. They've been so deprived of them all game, but instead of walking back towards tower, they walk up into the river, and Counters decides to go on a bit of a hero play himself when he just doesn't need to. He should flash the wall, pull out White Gun, man up, and kill Kyton if it's the play. You can't go halfway when you do something like that, because he just stands in Red Gun Q and loses his life.
Absolutely. And now, with a minute 15 until this strike spawns, it will be soul point for Hawkthorne, but it will be soul for VBU. That was the trade that they made. That's the decision that they made, and they are prepared in this bush. What can they find? If Allfire walks first, it'll be heartbreak for Hawkthorne, but they have Kyton in their eyes as they're going to be looking for that Stimmers. There's going to be the shutdown immediately onto Annie, Heart's brother. Can he escape? No, he's going to get Shen ulted in. He's going to be trying to save this team fight as Arthur's finally arrived, and this could be it. This could be Hawkthorne coming back. Hawkthorne will get the one kill, but can they continue to survive? Godzilla is going to get burned down, and it looks like the team fight still falls. His counter is going to flash away. He's using the red gun to try and heal as Arth goes legendary. He's going to find one kill. Arth is your hope. He's going to get flashed on by counters. The counters is continuing to survive, and then he's fighting it back beautifully, and the HP bars are going to fall. Counters finds one, his jungler finds the other, and Hawkthorne, you can't keep doing this!
Colonel, even when the game seems over, it just is another fight won by Hawthorne, as honestly, I thought Annie and Rel were inting here, but they just one-shot Kyton, and then from this, the perfect timing on the Zonias, letting the Shen come in, and even though I think Counters was gonna die here, look at this healing, there's just no heal cut in sight from the side of VBU, and it allows Counters to live the time he needs to kite out this fight as the man just doesn't fall, and in voice comms, they're screaming 200 years, but I just don't think that's the case. I think it's a misplay as Kyton comes in with the
Oh, the TV is beautiful, and now trying to escape, using the package to escape from Arth. Now the paranoia, you have nowhere left to run. The GA is gonna pop, and he has nowhere left to help him. Oh no, as he's going to, unable to see what's going on, but that is a deadly situation for your jungler to find yourself in, and Kyton may have just stopped Hawthorne scumbag.
And I think that Kyton may have just ended the game again. I don't know what's happening in this game, Colonel, but it looks like they're trying to hit the turrets or they wouldn't be here as the cavalry and the next wave arrives. You have to be wondering if your Hawthorne is, if that's the pick that costs you the game. Kyton again carrying his team on his back. They're hitting the top inhibitor here, Colonel, and they have to kill the wave here if they're going to protect the base. Ooh. Annie gets absolutely exploded, and Rel falls as well, and just like
oh my
that,
god, that is disgusting. And
and just like that, the game ends, and VBU are going to take game 2, and honestly, VBU taking from the jaws of defeat, they find the victory. Absolute chaos. And I think we had our poor play-by-play start to die by Wi-Fi, so it's just me here in the post-game, but honestly, Hawthorne, please be watching the stream. Please hear my prayers. Ban Corki, punish bot lane. If you look at the damage, you only had one problem, and it's so fixable. You can give Allfire Diana, you can give away another power pick, because if you're only banning power picks and not meta champions anyway, you have to realize that Kyton's Corki is the power pick that you're missing. With that said, we're going to sort out some technical difficulties. Oh, actually, I think that our superstar play-by-play is back. So, Colonel, what do
I
you
am
think
back.
going into Game 3?
Honestly, I have to give a lot of credit to Hawkthorne. They tried to fight against the Corki, and honestly, they gave a really smart shot. They played exactly how they knew everything they needed to do, and they played it really well. But unfortunately, it's just a mountain too high to climb when you're going up against Kaiton's Corki. But I have to give them credit where credit is due. Arth tried so hard to pull that game back, and it was so close, but that catch in the jungle just sealed the deal. Now, finally, I think it's time for Corki to hit that ban list.
And Colonel, you have to be wondering, if you are Hawthorne, could you have won Game 2 if Corki just wasn't on the table? You won all of these fights, and the only problem was this Corki absolutely decimating your front line, and it's just devastation if you see Hawthorne. But honestly, if their mentals are strong, if they're still mentally in the game here, and they're able to focus up and put another Game 3 performance in like they did this game, I think that there's hope for them yet if the Corki's not on the table, but I guess that's all for them to decide as we head into Game 3 draft next game.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. We will be back as we'll see if Hawthorne can come back and win it all the way from the 0-2 start. Stay tuned.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Hello, everybody. We are back heading into Game 3 draft of Hawkthorne versus VBU. You'll see the sides look a little bit different. Hawkthorne did something that we haven't expected anyone to ever do ever, but they did swap to blue side, which is a fresh look for this team.
It is, Colonel, and I'm going to be blunt here. I'm going to be absolutely blunt here. If they don't ban Corky, I'm going to tilt. And I don't want to tilt on stream. It's really unhealthy for me to tilt on stream. But Colonel, I'm going to do it. I expect to see the Corky banned and they leave up another pick for VBU or even take it away.
Yeah, it cannot find its way into Kyton's hands for Game 3. Whether that be you pick it away, I'm not too confident if they haven't tried to do so already on how sure they are about potentially trying to pick it away. But regardless, it can still be on your ban list. That's something that I've been talking about since Game 1, and we'll talk about it Game 2, and hopefully we don't have to keep talking about it after Game 3.
Absolutely, Colonel. I hope so as well. As we're waiting a little to get to the draft now, Colonel, let's talk about some things we saw that worked from Hawthorne. I'm going to start with the two champions that I thought worked really well from Hawthorne, and maybe that they should have gone with. I thought the Nocturne was fantastic, but I also thought the Game 1 Zinzao performance was really strong, and I think if you're Hawthorne, you can't go wrong with either of those choices, and I think that if we are going to see them just give up a pick to VBU Krypton, I would love to see one of those two junglers picked, but what else do you think could be a winning recipe for Hawthorne here as they try to come back in this series?
Honestly, I think from the very beginning, it's been putting Matty Mice on something that he can make plays with. On his hooks, he was great. The reason that they stayed in that last game was because of those beautiful Magnet Storm rail engages. Make sure that this man has agency because him and Arth are trying so hard to win you the series, trying so hard to keep you in it against VBU. So I think a lot of it comes between the jungler and the support.
It does become the jungler support. Indeed, Colonel, because I think that these players are the ones carrying them through these games. But with that said, I feel that it actually has to be on the top laner to get a matchup that he's more comfortable in than the ones he's been taking. I know they've been going with Shen to fit a team comp idea, but you can't have a champion have 90 farm at 25-30 minutes, Colonel. That's just not how the game works. You need to have someone who can collect farm and resources safely, even if that's a range carry, even if that's from a distance. You just have to find ways to make that happen. And I hope they do in this draft. I hope they do.
And remember, they gave him red side R5 counter pick to go into that Shen in Game 2 and to lose down that heavily. So obviously Game 2 it was for a team competition. For Game 1, it more so seemed to be comfortable. It was their matchup that they felt they could counter pick it, and it didn't work out well for them. So if that means getting off the Shen, okay. If that means finding yourself on something safer, something ranged, something that you can hide under your tower, so be it. But you need to make sure that this top lane stabilizes if you're going to have any hope of defeating Kyton in the mid lane.
Exactly, because you can't have two lanes fall apart, Colonel, and that's what we're seeing here. It's hard to see counter Arth and Matty Mice perform so well, and the solo lanes just fall apart for Hawthorne, because I feel like you can address that a little more than you have been in draft, and I feel like they're just refusing to address that. If Arth is really out jungling Allfire, then give up the Diana. He can play the matchup. I'm sure Arth is a talented player who can take this matchup in stride, and honestly, just disappointed father vibes all around from me.
Absolutely. Coach Paka is definitely Paka-sad. But honestly, I want to see what you're going to be picking if you're Hawkthorne Esports in the mid lane. We're assuming that the Corky is not going to be on the table for Kyton, but this time around, he has a deep champion pool. In previous games, you had to ban him pretty heavily. You had to ban away the Echo. You had to ban away the Silas. You had to ban away the Yone. So to see what he's going to be picking and to be prepared for what his fourth tier of mid lane pick is going to be where I'm gonna be most interested to see what Hawkthorne has prepared for whatever has in store for us.
He does, and if the Diana, for example, is the ban they leave up and it does go over to Kyton, there are answers into it, but at the same time, I'm not sure about Hearthstuck Brothers' pool, so we'll have to see when they go into draft, which they are now. Thank you, Colonel. Colonel, look! It's right there! Miracles can come true, chat.
We've been waiting for it for a long time. It's finally there. Unfortunately, Hawkthorne have to fight themselves into a reverse sweep to get out of this hole that they've dug, although they did fight pretty valiantly in both Game 1 and Game 2. But for VBU, don't expect too much to change. They are on red side, so they have a little bit of pivot potential to change up what they're going to be going for. But it is still the Shyvana. I would expect if they are going to go back to what they have been banning, it will be the Vayne and the Samira as well, both ADC champions, and that's what we're going to be saying.
And that's okay if that's the strategy they want to go for. Again, they haven't been tested in drafts, so they don't have to change their strategy that much. And Colonel, actually, at the end of it all, Hawthorne might be taking Seraphine B1. They haven't banned it, and I can't give it over to Krypton because Krypton loved this champion way too much, and I think that's what they're posturing for here.
That has to be what they're expecting. But remember, that third ban wasn't the Echo. The Echo was a phase 2 ban. It was the Diana. So that actually will be the pick, but they do leave up for themselves the Seraphine. I guess they were worried if they did ban away the Seraphine that the Diana would be picked, or that the Echo would be picked rather. But VBU, they've been very comfortable on it so far. I would be surprised if they didn't pick themselves up a Seraphine.
Yeah, and I think if VBU goes Seraphine Xin Zhao here, which I know is a duo that's pretty meta and pretty standard, but whether or not they pick it is really to be decided as they lock in the Jinx again with Diana being hovered. Why, VBU? Why? It's been working. They're going to go back to it, but I just think the bot lane needs more help than they've been getting, because if Hawthorne are going to come back in the series, it's going to be punishing that Jinx and her support. And with Seraphine still on the table, I would be very surprised if it didn't get locked here for VBU Krypton, and it will be, Colonel.
Have to expect that to be in Toxin's hands. I'm no coach. I'm not Coach Paka, but if you're putting your superstar Kyton carry on a Seraphine, then I don't know what to say to VBU. But they will finally lock it in. So this is something that Hawkthorne, I hope, has been prepared for, because they did take it off the ban list. And it looks like they are going to go back to that rail engage that they had in Game 2.
They are, and honestly, it makes much more sense in this draft than it did last time, because the Diana follows up on that dive so well, and if there's a 3 to 4 man Magnet Storm, there's a 3 to 4 man Moonfall Sigil, and it just ends the game if they are Hawthorne. But honestly, I could see Seraphine going to both champions, especially since there's a new full AP build running around on Seraphine. I don't doubt Kyton's ability on this champion. We've seen him play it in the past, and I think Kyton's a good Seraphine player now. Kyton's been carrying this series so hard, and you have to wonder if that's what they're going to need or not. But I do think this still definitely could go to Kyton, and we still need to see more of the draft.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility, but that will be the Silas. I have to expect that can, of course, always go to either solo lane. You have to be prepared for Akblow to bring that out in the top side, although I'd be surprised if he does blind it. But that is going to be for one of them, and for solo lanes, they have been so dominant for the side of VBU Krypton, a champion that was otherwise on the ban list in Games 1 and Game 2. That's a scary sight.
It is a scary sight indeed, Colonel, and honestly, with the Seraphine, I think this reveals the Seraphine to be support at the end of the day, though, so I do think it's going to Toxin, as you earlier mentioned, because even though the Silas is a flex, we've seen Kyton play this champion so often. So there's something that I've talked about a fair bit called a fake flex, where you do show a champion that can go multiple roles, but in your heads you know exactly where it's going on the person. You're not really truly flexing the champion to multiple roles. So I do think this is a very Seraphine support and a Silas mid, and if Hawthorne can catch on to that and maybe adjust their draft strategy to punish that as much as they can, it could be looking up for Hawthorne at the end of the second phase here.
Hopefully they do ban out the Sejuani that we saw just earlier today, as well as Mordekaiser in that. Wow! Paul, you're going to have to talk me through this one. We have ourselves a Rek'Sai for VBU.
Honestly, Rek'Sai's a really good champion, Colonel. It's very strong in solo queue, at least. After the buffs this patch, it's become even stronger, but again, this champion is on such a timer, and with Wukong being locked in for Zilla, we're finally seeing him out of Shen jail. And honestly, I'm happy if I'm Hawthorne with this draft, because I feel like you have such a cohesive comp on like other drafts, and honestly, I think it's just looking so much better on blue side for them this game. But with that said,
Oh,
there is a lot of oh my god, baby,
they're not going
lock
to do
it in.
this. They're not
Lock
going
it
to. Oh
in.
my God, they do. This is honestly the most surprising thing that I've had all day. Aurelia in the mid lane. I have to expect it to be mid lane, although I have no idea if they're comfortable with a Wukong in the mid lane. But up against Chitin, picking this new Aurelia, she's so strong. She's been having a blast wherever she's picked. She just feels super hard to kill with her W, as a Malphite is the last pick. But wow, this Aurelia pick in the mid, this is confidence coming out of the mid laner.
And that is amazing to be locked in here. And honestly, I think the Malphite pick here might not be the right option for them, because you are now really, really, really giving Zilla a free lane and not punishing him in the top side, because even though Malphite is a decent champion for this comp, I don't know if you want to give that pressure if you are VBU, because Zilla's been punished all game and now you're giving him a bit of a free lane to maneuver in. So, Colonel, at the end of the day, I think Hawthorne got it right. My faith has been restored in the boys in blue, and maybe we're going to see them bring it to a game 4 here, Colonel. But at the end of the day, what are your thoughts?
My faith has been unwavered this entire time. Hawkthorne with the reverse sweep, easy. But honestly, this is an interesting recipe to do it. I have to give so much credit to their mental to go down 0-2 against that Corki, to get pentakilled in game 1, and to still have the confidence to pull out these carry picks on the lanes that so far have struggled, the top lane and the mid lane, these solo lanes that have been outplayed by VBU Krypton. It takes a lot mentally to be this confident, and I give them a lot of credit for that. We'll have to see if it pays off. We will take a quick break before we head on to the Rift for game 3. Stay tuned.
When I look in your eyes, I see the stars shooting from the sky as if thrown from Mars. Hold me tight, please don't let me down, 'cause we'll start falling, falling, falling towards the ground. Cause we'll start falling, falling, falling. Cause we'll start falling, falling, falling. Cause we'll start falling, falling,
Yeah, we said we let it go, but we settled for the last. Couldn't let you want it though. Who am I to let you down? No, who am I to let you down, down,
Hello, everybody. We are back for Game 3 of Hawkthorne versus VBU. Can Hawkthorne mount the comeback, or is VBU going to take it in a 3-0 sweep? Paul, I am so excited, and maybe? Oh no, it was looking like a level 1, but it looks like there will be none to be had in Game 3.
Yeah, and Colonel, we were talking about wanting to see Kyton on something with a lot of proactivity, and you were concerned about the Seraphine, but he's on the Malphite, man. It's Malphite mid, it's Agvalo on Silas top. Honestly, the matchup is good for Akbalo because Wukong has some of the lowest base MR in the game, but at the same time, man, I just don't know what's going on here from VBU. They have the dark technology coming out, and it's breaking my brain.
My brain is broken as well, and honestly, now all my eyes are going to be on Heartstock Brother because although he struggles so heavily in the first 2 games, now he has a chance to really flex and be able to show why he's here, why he's deserving of making his way through the lower bracket, because this lane should be easier for him without the Silas, and it's honestly, it's up to him to be able to carry this early game for Hawkthorne.
It really is up to him to carry this early game, and I mean, it's something that he's done, but I guess you just have to do it harder, or the rest of your team has to step up. And at the end of the day, when you put Heartstuck Brother on Aurelia, you should expect to see some of that from him. And now Zilla again got counterpicked. I'd say pretty hard. I think this matchup isn't very good, but even then, like, can you see your solo laner step up as well? Because I think that's the most important part of all this is honestly seeing your solo laners put in a good performance over this game.
Absolutely. Heartstock Brother taking a lot of damage. Remember, the big changes for Aurelia is that her W makes her nigh unkillable. She gets so many resistances while she's in that, but until she gets leveled up at level 1, she will be taking quite the beating. Malphite will have priority over that lane with the Q as, whoa, Toxin getting his flash burned out, not respecting that level 2 on the bottom side.
He isn't respecting that level 2 again, overstepping and overstaying his welcome, getting his flash burned, and now it's on counters and Matty Mice to punish, and they are going to.
They're looking, that's a lot of damage. Flash is still there, but now counter's flashing forward, but oh no, it's so much damage. You've given up your life. First blood going over to Buckbee on the Jinx, and now Matty Mice has to try and escape, but flashing forward is Buckbee. Can he find this? A double kill to seal game 3 would be devastating. Matty Mice, he's going to try and escape, but no, the fadeaway does not land. It will only be 1, but Toxin gets bailed out by his ADC.
He does get bailed out again, and now Buckbee has a kill on his hands. Now, all sums are still burned in the bot lane, and I think the exhaust played a huge part of that all in for both sides, and at the end of the day, I think that if counters and Matty Mice keep the tempo like this, the fight will go their way the next time, so it's still important to be watching that lane as it progresses throughout the early game. But, Colonel, I mean, oh my god, Buckbee's done it again.
Counters. Oh no, you hate to see it. Bad start for Kaisa. We're worried about a little bit, but that's going to be a lot of damage. He's trying to fight regardless of his HP bar, and he's going to die before he can even get the damage out. And now Diana is trying his best to carry, but she's taking a tower shot, and that's a double kill going over to Rek'Sai. This is already VBU's game to lose.
And it really, really is VBU's game to lose, as honestly, Colonel, the early game devastation is setting in. We see a 2,000 gold lead at 4 minutes, and if I don't know what disaster is, but I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure this is what disaster looks like, Colonel. It is, with all the confidence and all the belief we had in the draft, falling apart early.
And Zilla on the top side is the only one who has yet to die, but again, he's in a losing matchup. Is actually some decent trading in the mid lane. How HP bars are going down pretty low, and that's actually going to be so much that he's flashing forward. Oh, Heartstock Brother surprising me and surprising Kyton as he's going to get the solo kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that's the early matchup of Malphite and the pain of playing Malphite. It doesn't matter how good you are at laning. This champion just doesn't do anything until the end of the game. There's a running joke among some of my friends that if you're 20 farm down, you're actually winning lane as Malphite. So, nonetheless, a solo kill going over. Maybe Kyton can keep the gap closer than 20 over the course of the game, but it's not looking bright so far.
Yeah, and it'll be very interesting to see how VBU is able to deal with having someone other than Kyton be their carry. Akbalo will get spotted out, but good W to avoid, and now potentially trading in. That's a lot of damage, and the W, Kingslayer will find its mark. Godzilla will fall. That's the last visage of hope for any of these lanes. Every single role has fallen once. Every lane, even the jungler, has died, and that's going to be a very early Infernal Drake.
It is a very early Infernal Drake, and important to note that it's the first early Drake that VBU have gotten all series. Usually they play these hyperscaling comps, and they are again, but when you have your one early game champion get ahead so early, and when you have so many misses from counters and Matty Mice who have been good all series, I guess the tables just flip even if you're playing scaling, and you just find yourself so far ahead and an early Drake to your name. Now,
a lot of damage coming out. Can Arthur survive? He's going to get killed by Aquilo, but now can Aquilo escape? He's getting a lot of damage, but the Cyclone is not yet available, and that's the big difference maker here. And now he might get turned on as the E is going to find his second mark and the flash out of Godzilla. And this is failure after failure for Hawkthorne Esports.
And it is absolute devastation there. You have to wonder, Colonel, if Godzilla could have stayed in the wave and tried to outplay that, but he opts out of trying to outplay, and that's another kill. Going over to VBU as, again, a 2k gold lead at 6 minutes. If all of the buys can be made and all of the buys can get off in time to make sure that they don't burn their shutdowns before they get their resets. This game is just so hard for Hawkthorne to play already, and we're only 7 minutes in.
Hawkthorne yet again find themselves on the back foot. Now we have to see who do we actually have hope in for Hawkthorne to try and keep this. Remember last time around it was Arth, but Arth on the Diana, we did see a ban in the first two games, down 0-2 already. He has not been able to get his feet off the ground, and he is worded out in his jungle. And honestly, he's got all of the hope that Hawkthorne has because he's the only one who's been playmaking in earlier games.
He really has been, and now the onus is on his solo laners to find the plays, and look at this! Godzilla's
out. Coming out, and Aquila get down pretty low. Can he find the stun? He's gonna find the Kingslayer! And the King has been slain as Wukong will fall. 0-2 in the top side. Aquilo surprising to top side, and honestly, making that comeback. Allfire not safe to stay there, but he will tunnel out, and now there may be a fight on the bot side. Matty Mice is almost rooted, but they're trying to look for a Rek'Sai. It's still right there. Not fully respecting this, and Rocket does go wide. That's hard one to miss, but Matty Mice is falling nonetheless. He's gonna find beautiful flash. Toxin will find nothing, and Arth, that is yet another death, and that's actually the heal out of his ADC as well. Allfire is trying to find it. Can he make up? Oh no, he does not find that mark, but Kaisa left for dead. The Encore will miss, but I think there's still no way that Counters is able to get out of this. Allfire is just waiting for this other wave to come in. He's gonna flash, but the knockup is something you cannot avoid. Toxin, he's gonna have to get healed. Toxin almost killed himself to tower, but VBU continue to do no wrong.
Absolutely, and Colonel, after the first two games being so close from Hawkthorne being able to duke it out, they go for the draft that we think looks right for them, but now we see Arth 0-3, we see Counters 0-3, and I can't believe what I am seeing here. This is absolute chaos again, but instead of them being traded back and forth, Colonel, it's all on the side of VBU, and Hawkthorne have to find some TP play, some team play that they were pulling off in game 1 and 2 quickly to get these shutdowns collected, because this Jinx is 4-0, and now she will be pushing with the Seraphine. You have to use your Aurelia TP as soon as you possibly can to shut down this Jinx before she's too strong for it to matter, because she finishes the Kraken Slay.
This will be Hardstuck Brothers' opportunity to be the playmaker that Hawkthorne needs. He does have lane here as Godzilla. Not a place you want to be, as he's going to take the Cyclone. Now he's going to be trading Cyclones as well. The second knockup will be found, but Godzilla actually pulling trigger first will be able to kite away. But like I was saying, he does have a CS lead. He's actually going to be going to the top side, interestingly enough. Diana is here as well. They're looking for a big play on Aquilo. He just used his ultimate. This is beautiful timing. Can they find the CC? They'll find the beautiful engage. Shutdown going over to Aurelia. There was no escaping that for Aquilo. And that is the first good play Hawkthorne's made.
They have, and they've collected one of the shutdowns, but it's not the most important one. They have to get back down here, and they can't keep giving Buckby these free towers, because now, after the bot lane gave up so much in games 1 and 2, now Buckby is 4-0-0 on this Jinx, and it's on him to be able to carry out the game. Excuse me, Colonel, as as there's so much power in this Jinx early, which is something we see so infrequently. As also, Colonel, we're about to see another fight for VBU.
Krypton has the unstoppable force. Can he look in onto the play? He's doing a little bit of damage right now, but he did get his jungler. He did get Arth, who is going to die yet again. Arth has not been able to have a good game so far. Stun coming out. He will find the double kill, but Krypton still holding on to the unstoppable force. There's no escaping this. Trying to outplay it. Arslan brother will just delay the inevitable. All fire on a rampage 4-0-2, and it continues to crumble. Hawkthorne Esports.
It absolutely does, and I think we saw Arth freeze up there because I don't think it's a DC because there's no pause timer to their name, but I think the boys of Hawkthorne may be tilted out, and it's devastating to see, Colonel, because they played so well all series, but VBU, again, just in such a strong position. Now, though, for Hawkthorne, if we look on the bright side of things and we try to find ways for them to get back into this game, I think it has to be making a play onto this bot lane within the next 3 minutes before plates fall, so that you can get some plate gold back, you can get this shutdown gold back, and still have hope for this early game team fight.
But Allfire is here. He does have the Rift Arrow. Yes, he will be spawning it. So that tower is going to fall. And honestly, you said 3 minutes, but it may be even shorter is that because now Buckby can rotate himself into the mid lane and be able to take that farm as well. And Jinx, off to the races.
Absolutely off to the races now with the first tower as well, and she may even get one more. And again, Hawkthorne just aren't confident enough to respond to this bot side here. Who cares if you throw 5 members with Zilla's TP coming up very soon on this Wukong? You might as well shoot your shot and try to get this shutdown, because if Jinx gets another base off, this game could just be over because she could be almost finishing her second item. And it looks like at the end of the day, nothing is going to come of it. And
yeah, it looked like they were trying to find the play. They postured aggressively, but a good disengage from VBU, and now they can continue the siege. Aurelia has found her way back onto the back line, but just a little bit early. She's going to take a lot of damage. She's going to be absolutely blasted by Buckby. Both TPs coming down. Now they're fully ready to run it down the bottom side. Engage is coming in. Not finding the Magnus Storm for Akblo, but that's the unstoppable force into the backline. He will find it, but Kenny gets done. He will get the kill regardless. Rek'Sai finishing that off. An inhibitor cracked only 12 minutes into this game.
Colonel, with the inhibitor cracked only 12 minutes in, I don't know if this is the case, but could this be the fastest game we've ever seen? What if VBU come back and take this inhibitor again and try to end the game bottom after getting buys off? I think that we could be seeing one of the fastest games in EGL history.
That would be devastating, but it's definitely not off the cards. Hawkthorne are so behind. I think Arslan brother, he has some gold, but this is not where you want to be. Oh, Encore does miss from Toxin. That could have been a big catch, but unable to find either of the members. Instead, they will try and defend their mid lane turret. We'll see, but Aurelia's trying to make a play. This could be their last stand. She's going to be looking in, but she's going to get stunned up. She's going to get knocked up. She's going to get shut down. Allfire is dominating, and I don't know if there's any way to come back for Hawkthorne.
And I don't think there's any way to come back from Hawkthorne already. Only 14 minutes in, and I think that's like... Colonel, I think we're at the end of the game. I know that there's a lot of League of Legends left to be played, but again, 7,000 at 14 minutes is so different than 7,000 at like 30 minutes, 40 minutes when everybody still has some items. This is literally like 3 items to 0. We're literally playing base stats versus like almost Infinity Edge type of shenanigans.
Oh my god. Almost got that kill. Look at that big slope. We can see it just kept going. There was no point of respite for Hawkthorne, and now, honestly, there's so few avenues to come back in. They also were snowballed in the Drake, so they don't have that Drake soul to play to either, and now they're going to continue to lose the rest of their structures.
They are going to continue to lose the rest of the structures here, Colonel, as VBU are just looking to push into the base and get this game finished off nice and early. They aren't holding back for no objectives. They understand that they're so far ahead as they're going to die of Hardstuck Brother here, and they're going to go in onto Buckby. Zilla trying to find the play.
Looking in, Jinx is so far, she's going to get shut down, even in a game this far one-sided. Kyan gets a kill on the opposite side of the map, and they will, get the pick, find the 5-1-2 Jinx, but maybe just a little bit too late to make a play on that bot lane like you were talking about.
It is just a little too late. They do get that shutdown though, and it is onto a strong member, so they can have a champion that can output some damage in these fights coming up soon. But at the same time, I just don't know if you're allowed to hit unless you find the perfect engage. Now they do have the Magnetic Storm from Rel, they do have the Diana Moonfall, and if they can find those in tandem, it doesn't really matter the gold state because you can just explode a team because of the Diana's amping on hitting a certain number of people with her ultimate. But it's such a dream scenario because I don't even think VBU need to be standing together to get out enough damage. So we're thinking of miracles here, but Hawthorne can hopefully find that.
Instead, they might find themselves in a death brush. We'll see if anyone is going to bite on that. Doesn't look like they will, but they are walking just a little bit too far, and if they show their faces, they will fall. As soon as they spot it on the wave, that's it. They got the vision. They're going to have 3 people right behind them. Oh, no. You hate to see it. Counters. Oh, he's just going to taunt away, flash out, but it is death nonetheless. VBU has absolutely crushed Hawthorne. There's going to be a second kill here. There's no way that they won't find a double kill going over to Akbalo. Now Akbalo trying to find his third. He's going to get stunned up by Aurelio. Aurelio's looking for the play. He's going to go in with the ultimate, trying to find her mark onto Toxin, but he will be saved by the Rek'Sai ultimate as that third Drake will fall.
Absolutely, Colonel. And as we're setting up for what seems to be a 20-minute soul point, we are absolutely nearing the end of this game as, honestly, Akbalo may be caught out here, and I think we might be seeing what we believe. Hawthorne have decided they've had enough of the torture. They need to get out of the torture chamber, and they have their last game of the season, Colonel. It's really, really tragic to see a team have such a competitive season and end it on such a low note.
Absolutely. VBU broke down their spirits. This was disgusting, and I have to give all credit to those solo laners. They were a step above the rest, especially Cayenne, obviously, with that pentakill in game 1. Just so far above what Hawthorne was able to do. And I have to give them credit. They looked so good. They gave up such a good fight in games 1 and especially in game 2. But all good things must come to an end, and their playoff run will die here. They will exit out of the losers bracket. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. That will be it for us here on the desk. Stay tuned next week as we'll go into the next round as VBU will be taking on the losers of the winners bracket in Hyperion. Adios.